Live from Southwest Florida's news source, this is Fox 4 News at 6.
4 in your corner, starting out following breaking news right now in Fort Myers. Firefighters have their work cut out for them as they battle a major wildfire that's causing some serious traffic backups.
An impressive smoke on the skyline. All of this happening in the area of Shawnee Road and State Road 82. At one point, this fire forced crews to shut down lanes of Daniels Parkway right near Commerce Lakes Drive, but they've since reopened. 4 in your corner's Tara Molina joining us live from the scene with the very latest. Tara.
Patrick and Amy, a wildfire tearing through 150 acres right off State Route 82 and Shawnee Road. Crews tell me they have it about 50% contained right now, and no structures have been affected. Now, smoke isn't problematic at the moment, but humidity is low, and as humidity rises, smoke could become an issue. I want you to take a look behind me. Multiple agencies have been called out to this fire, including Lehigh, Collier Strike Team, North and South Strike Teams, Fort Myers Fire, Matt Lachey, and Estero Fire Departments. Now, Florida Forest Service tells me this is one of the biggest fires they've seen recently.
This is one of the larger ones we've had in recent years. You know, as evening comes and humidity increases, you may see more smoke on the roadways. So you urge drivers to use caution as always.
Eastbound lanes have opened up. They were closed for a while, but traffic is moving slowly. So if you can avoid this area or take an alternate route, authorities advise you do so. I'll be back with you at 6:30 for an update live here at the scene. We're in Fort Myers. Tara Molina, Fox 4, in your corner.
Thank you, Tara. We also know that Lee County's putting out robocalls to avoid that area of Daniels. Now, the wind conditions are causing that smoke problem for a lot of people dealing there, and we're giving you a close look at it here on Fox 4 News at 6. It shows you the direction in which the smoke is traveling.
Storm Patrol's Jim Sion joining us from the Weather Center tonight with more on how the weather will affect this fire. Jim.
Well, the good news is it's a consistent easterly wind. We're not going to be dealing with those shifting winds that we often get during brush fire season. There's a general idea of where that fire is. There you see Daniels Parkway, State Road 82. Let's expand the view. That easterly wind is at about 10 to 15 miles per hour right now. The areas that are probably going to be affected by the smoke, especially later this evening when that humidity does go up, include the Gateway community and then toward I-75. You have a lot of communities there. Old Hickory, Fiddlesticks, Cross Creek Estates, Eagle Ridge, areas close to Hammond Stadium. They could have smoke problems later today too. Think there's a lot of smoke? Look at our Zoom 10 Skycam from the Best Western waterfront. That's in North Fort Myers. You see the smoke there on the left-hand side of your screen, and it's moving toward the Gulf of Mexico. Again, that's that easterly wind that's going to be in place for us throughout the evening. Here are your wind speeds right now, generally at about 10 to even 15 miles per hour. The wind getting a little bit lighter this evening, but there still is going to be a bit of a breeze. As far as the radar goes, nothing on the Doppler. Got plus showers that are very, very light inland, but we do have a lot of changes coming to the forecast. We'll talk about that and look at your weekend coming up here in a couple of minutes.
Tonight, we're also following a breaking health development in Lee County. The Florida Department of Health recommending you stay away from the Caloosahatchee River because of potentially harmful algae blooms.
4 in your corner is Sarah Belsole joining us live from the Cape Coral Yacht Club with more on this tonight. Sarah.
Patrick, Amy, the water here at the Cape Coral Yacht Club is safe for everyone to go in the water today. We have a lot of people coming out and getting on boats and swimming. But the health department releasing a health notice earlier this afternoon, wanting people to be cautious that there could potentially be some harmful algae blooms in the Caloosahatchee River. They're offering some tips for people to kind of be on the lookout now and throughout the summer to make sure they're not getting into a dangerous situation. First, if the water looks greenish or off color, if the water has a bad smell to it, and if you're seeing any type of dead fish or wildlife along the shore, you shouldn't be swimming in, going on your boat, or drinking that water if it is along the Caloosahatchee River, because it could have that algae bloom in the area, and that could be potentially very harmful for you, your family members, or your pets. Now, we did speak to some people out here at the Cape Coral Yacht Club earlier this afternoon, and they say they're taking that precaution very seriously. We spoke with one woman who says she had a small daughter here with her today, that she'll definitely be keeping her eyes open.
Obviously, if it is harmful, she is young and I don't want anything to happen to her or us for that matter, and we fish here too, so I definitely would be cautious, and if the water looked off, I definitely would be worried.
Now, the U.S. Corps of Engineers has closed down the swimming area at the Franklin Lock due to dangerous levels of these algae blooms. That's the only closure that we know about right now. The health department says that they will keep on top of this situation, of course, issue any advisories if any of the water here in Lee County is unsafe for you to swim. Of course, count on Fox 4 to bring you that information as we get it. We're live in Cape Coral. Sarah Belsol, Fox 4 in your corner.
Thank you so much, Sarah. A breaking development in a death investigation in Collier County. Deputies now identifying the victim found in an unusual case. They now say the body found in the brush in the woods on Tuesday afternoon is that of Heather King, a man reportedly finding that body badly decomposed in these woods along the road, quickly calling 911. And as of tonight, still no word on the circumstances surrounding Heather King's death or how her body ended up there, but you can count on 4 in your corner to keep you updated. And of course, you can also count on us to stay on top of all of these breaking stories at once. That's what we do here at Fox 4 and bring you the latest both on air and online on fox4now.com.
It's sickening because, you know, in my mind, the day before the shooting, you were holding my son.
Tonight, we're getting a closer look at what the key witness in the murder of a 5-year-old boy told attorneys in her deposition. The witness's initial testimony landed Thomas Edison and Terrence Iron behind bars in connection with a drive-by shooting in October that killed little Andrew Faust. But now we have that witness's deposition in which she claims she no longer remembers what happened.
We're hearing from a lot of viewers about this one. 4 in your corner's Lisa Greenberg pouring through the documents and highlighting the differences between her statements here. Lisa.
Well, Patrick and Amy, 3 days after little Andrew was killed in that drive-by shooting, the key witness gave the names and detailed descriptions of who she says pulled the trigger. She even recalls 8 shots being fired, but now she tells attorneys she doesn't remember any of that or what she told police back in October.
The accused killers of 5-year-old Andrew Faust weaving in and out of traffic to freedom. And it was the key witness's deposition that set them free. The witness telling attorneys she could not remember what happened that night or recall the initial testimony she gave police 3 days after the shooting, telling attorneys, if I remembered that right there at that time, I remembered that right there at that time. If I don't remember right now at this time, that don't mean I'm lying, because I do not remember. Even when the prosecutors played the first part of her initial statement to police, she insisted she didn't remember and asked them to stop, saying, can we not listen to this? But in that initial testimony back in October, the witness told police she was inside this home on Cuba Street, her son playing with Andrew outside. She said she saw Edison and Irons, identifying them by their street names, Hester Red and City Bill. The witness telling police she saw Irons clear as day. You could see his clear face because he didn't have on nothing. She said she saw Edison too, who she's known since childhood, even describing his distinct hair, the dread things that stick up. They don't fall, they don't hang, they just stick out. But those descriptions slipped her memory when asked, do you know if it's Thomas Edison or Terrence Irons who shot Andrew that night? She says, no, ma'am. The deposition wrapped up when the prosecution asked the witness if anyone offered a reward or threatened her to say she doesn't remember. No, sir, she answered. But her attorney, Renee Suarez, told us on the 11th, when the witness appeared in court for the first time, that she was intimidated by threats, some even physical.
She has been getting certain information conveyed to her that causes concern for her safety.
Now, I reached out to the key witness, but her phone has been disconnected. Her attorney tells me he's not doing interviews at her request. The next hearing in this case is in July, and that's when we'll get a clearer picture of what exactly is next. Live in the studio, Lisa Greenberg, Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We do want to hear from you now. What are your thoughts about the drastic difference between the witnesses' 2 statements? Call us, text us. The number's 206-FOX4, or you can email us news@fox4now.com.
That the land was to be purchased, that the money was to be used for conservation land acquisition. To date, we have not seen that happen.
Some passion among some local environmental activists demanding support from a Southwest Florida senator. They're pushing for the state to buy some land south of Lake Okeechobee under Amendment 1 funding. This is money they claim will help protect the Everglades and our water, and they took that message right to State Senator Lizbeth Benaquisto's office in downtown Fort Myers. 4 in your corner's Mark Jackman has the story.
This is so important because Over the decades and generations now, we have re-engineered the Everglades to suit man's needs.
Powerful sentiments coming from participants at a rally today in downtown Fort Myers. Environmentalists and community leaders gathered in front of Senator Benaquisto's district office to express their concerns about the Everglades water flow and future health.
Historically, the water used to go south from Lake Okeechobee to the Everglades, but because of the massive amount of alterations to the drainage system, and also because of the sheer presence of over 440,000 acres of sugarcane fields south of the lake, that hydrological connection that once existed between the lake and the Everglades has been severed.
But environmental groups gained new hope when voters approved a constitutional amendment last November to fund Everglades and sensitive land restoration.
Unfortunately, the legislature this past session took about 20 to 30% of that money as an earmark it for regulatory agency operational expenses.
And the terms of the amendment specifically said that the land was to be purchased, that the money was to be used for conservation land acquisition. To date, we have not seen that happen.
The groups want the state to purchase more than 25,000 acres south of Lake Okeechobee to restore a natural water flow back into the Everglades and to prevent the Caloosahatchee from being used to release polluted water into the Gulf, something that not only hurts the environment in Southwest Florida, but also property values. In downtown Fort Myers, Mark Jackman, Fox 4, in your corner.
Senator Benaquisto releasing a statement this afternoon saying she believes the state should fully fund the conservation projects that have already been planned and vetted. Meanwhile, the state legislature is expected to take up these issues during the special session, which starts next week.
All new at 6 tonight, getting Southwest Florida back to work. Governor Rick Scott praising a well-known company that's creating jobs in Southwest Florida. Governor Scott visiting Marine Concepts. It's on Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, highlighting its progress. The company, which specializes in creating parts for boats, was part of the event today. Governor Scott says since he's taken office, Florida has added 800,000 jobs. He says Marine Concepts played a notable role, adding 139 since that time.
The truth is, this should be the business capital of the world. And if we go out and we promote companies like Bob's, make sure that Marine Concepts and other companies know that they can do a better job here, then the Carloses of the world, all the Carloses of the world, are going to be able to get a job.
Now, Marine Concepts has been serving the city of Cape Coral since 1976.
Some Southwest Florida parents are bummed out over books tonight. Why? They're calling recommended reading at their kids' school, quote, pornographic.
Plus, we've got the skinny on supplements that promise you weight loss, how not to waste your money.
And why swiping on Tinder may lead you to being swabbed for STDs.
But first, 4 in your corner, staying on top of breaking news in Lee County as crews continue to battle this major wildfire. We've got the very latest on the fight next.